Welcome to the second part of our tutorial on how to make a navigation bar for Unit 21 of the OCR Nationals. So far we've made our buttons. We've got 5 buttons there: home, cast, about, images and watch. What we're going to do today is add some drop shadows to make them look a little bit more snazzy. Then we're going to add the magic that actually makes them work. So we're going to add the rollover behaviours and also the drop down effects. So moving over into Fireworks, first of all let's look at adding drop shadows. It's very easy. We're going to select all 5 of our buttons, so we're going to hold down the shift key as we select them. We're going to move down to the filters option and we're going to add drop shadow from the shadow and glow selection. And as you can see, it's added a drop shadow. Now we've got some options here. We can make the shadow a little bit smaller or larger. I'm going to just aim to drop it down a bit just so it's not quite as obtrusive. And then if I click out of that, then you'll see that I've got a nice drop shadow effect. So now we need to add the magic that makes it work. And to do that, we add what Fireworks calls web slices. So first of all, I'm going to click on this slice tool here, and then I'm going to draw slices over each of my buttons. And it's simply a case of clicking and dragging over your buttons. And we may have to do some corrections later, because you will see that these aren't quite perfect, but we'll get to that point in a moment. So now I've added my slices, what I need to do is add the effect that will happen when we roll over the buttons. To do that, we need to add a new state. So we go over to the right hand side of our screen and we've got the layers, pages and states option, and we're going to choose state. Currently we only have one state, and that's the visible state when you open the page. What we need to do is duplicate that by right clicking, selecting duplicate state and clicking OK. And on state 2, this is going to be the state that happens when we hover over one of the buttons. So it's going to change the image to whatever's on state 2. So first of all, I'm going to now need to hide the slices that I made because I want to adjust these images slightly. So we can show and hide the slices just by clicking on these 2 buttons here, show and hide. So what I want to do is add a slight twist to my buttons. I'm going to use the free transform, which is Control T or Command T if you're on a Mac, and just transform it, spin it around 1 notch. Not very much at all. And what I wanted to do is keep it all consistent so each one is exactly the same. Consistency is an important thing in web design. So as you can see then, all of my buttons are now being spun around. I think the about one is actually spun slightly too much, so I'm just going to push this bit back one. And now that does look like consistent. Maybe the watch is also slightly. And there we go, I think that is now consistent. So now what we need to do is add the rollover behaviour using the slices. So we go back to state number 1 and show the slices. And then if we click on them and click add a simple rollover behaviour. And then we go to File, Preview in Browser, and choose whatever browser you have to preview your graphics in. So I've got Google Chrome. And here's my graphic, and here's my navigation bar. Now what's going to happen if I hover over my buttons? You'll see that they move, which is a similar effect to the one that I put in my original piece. I don't know if you can see, but the bottom of the buttons is being cut off when they spin around, and that's because my slices were slightly too small. So what I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit, making sure I've got the select tool. I'm just going to grow the slices up and down a bit, just so make sure that they're not overlapping each other. And then if we preview in the browser, this time everything has been corrected and it's working fine. So happy with that. Next thing we're going to be doing is adding the drop down menus, and that will be in tutorial number 3.